Imagine you have been fasting with discipline for 16 hours. Your body is currently cleansing itself, and fat burning is running at full speed. But then, a small moment of inattention, a sip of coffee with a splash of cream, or perhaps a sugar-free piece of gum. Immediately, that one thought shoots through your mind. Damn, that's it. Everything was for nothing. The fast is broken. But what if I told you that this fear is unfounded? What if the real problem isn't the calories at all, but a completely underestimated hormone that functions like a light switch for your fat burning? The truth is, many people view fasting as a tough battle against hunger. They count every minute and panic over every single calorie. But your body does not operate according to the rigid rules of the internet. It works according to biological signals, insulin and ketones. In this video, we will clear up the myths. I will show you 7 foods that do not ruin your fast. Yes, you heard that right. There are things that contain calories, but trick your metabolism so cleverly that your body stays in fat-burning mode. Forget mechanical calorie counting. Today, we are changing perspective. We will look at how to fast intelligently instead of simply tormenting yourself obsessively. Stay until the end, because the science behind these 7 foods will change the way you see fasting forever.
To understand why some foods do not break your fast, we must let go of the idea that the body works like a simple combustion engine. It is actually a highly complex hormonal system. And within this system, there is one decisive gatekeeper, the hormone insulin. Imagine insulin as a massive security lock on your fat cells. As soon as you eat carbohydrates or larger amounts of protein, insulin levels rise. The lock snaps shut. At that moment, it becomes biologically impossible to use stored body fat for energy. Your body is forced to burn the sugar in your blood. However, when you fast, insulin levels drop, and this is where the magic happens. A counterpart enters the scene, the hormone glucagon. Glucagon is the key that unlocks the fat cells again. Only now can fatty acids flow into the bloodstream, travel to the liver, and be converted there into highly efficient ketones. This is the state of ketosis. But here we must make a very important distinction that is often confused. There are 2 stages of fasting. The first stage is ketosis, pure fat burning. For this, insulin simply needs to remain low. A spoonful of pure fat will hardly disturb this process. The second, deeper stage is autophagy, the internal recycling program of your cells. Here, old and defective cellular structures are broken down and renewed. However, autophagy is far more sensitive. It responds not only to insulin, but also to proteins. As soon as amino acids enter the picture, a switch called mTOR is activated. This switch tells the cell growth instead of cleansing. So, if your goal is pure fat burning, you have considerably more flexibility. But if your goal is cellular rejuvenation, we need to be much stricter.
Now that we know the gatekeeper insulin, we come to the decisive list. Which 7 things can you use to make fasting easier without flipping the metabolic switch? Number 1. MCT oil, specifically the C8 version. MCT oil is not ordinary fat. Imagine that normal fat has to take a long journey through your lymphatic system. MCT, however, takes the shortcut. It goes directly to your liver through the portal vein. There, it is immediately converted into ketones, a kind of rocket fuel for your brain. It reduces hunger and provides energy without even touching your insulin levels. Number 2. Classic black coffee. Coffee is more than just a wake-up drink. It contains chlorogenic acid, which supports your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells. It boosts fat burning through a slight adrenaline surge. But be careful, a single teaspoon of sugar cancels this effect. Black is the only option here for maximum efficiency. Number 3. Green tea and L-theanine. Green tea is the gentle sister of coffee. It contains EGGC, which directly promotes metabolism. What makes it special, however, is L-theanine. This amino acid calms the mind and lowers the stress hormone cortisol. Why is that important? Because high cortisol forces your body to store fat, even if you are not eating. Number 4. Soluble fiber such as psyllium husk. This is the ultimate trick against a growling stomach. Psyllium husk expands when combined with water and tricks the stomach into feeling full. Even more fascinating is what happens in your colon. Your gut bacteria transform these fibers into butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that reduces inflammation and signals to the brain, everything is fine, we have enough energy. Number 5. A splash of cream, the dirty fasting. For beginners, 1 tablespoon of real cream is often the rescue. As long as you stay under 50 calories from pure fat, the insulin response remains minimal. It is a compromise that helps you get through the fasting window instead of giving up early. Number 6. A handful of high-fat nuts. Studies by Walter Longo show that a tiny amount of macadamias or almonds barely changes ketosis levels. Think of this as an emergency kit when hunger becomes unbearable. But be careful, it is not a snack for in between, but a tool for bridging the gap. Number 7. Real bone broth. Fasting often leads to a loss of electrolytes. If you feel dizzy, it is often not hunger, but a lack of sodium and potassium, the so-called keto flu. Bone broth replenishes these reserves and gives you strength again without stopping fat burning.
We have talked about your allies, but now we must talk about the saboteurs. There are things that look harmless on the label, but trigger a biochemical alarm inside your body. The biggest trap? Amino acids such as BCAA or collagen. Many athletes use them during fasting to protect their muscles. But here is the hard truth. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. As soon as they enter your system, they activate a switch called mTOR. This switch is the exact opposite of autophagy. It tells your cells, stop recycling, start building. So if you are fasting to rejuvenate your cells, BCAA and collagen destroy this process immediately, even if they contain almost no calories. And then there is the issue of taste. Do you know this? You chew a sugar-free gum or drink a diet soda. It has 0 calories, right? Biologically speaking, it is more complicated. It is called the cephalic phase. The sweet taste alone signals to your brain, attention, energy is coming. Your body prepares itself, releases enzymes, and in many people, insulin levels even rise slightly, just from the expectation of sugar. Your fast begins to wobble before the first calorie has even been swallowed. Finally, beware of hidden fillers. Many electrolyte powders or vitamin tablets use maltodextrin or dextrose as carrier substances. This is basically pure sugar under a complicated name. A small packet of it can be enough to wake up the insulin gatekeeper again. Read the fine print. Do not let a small additive ruin all your discipline. We have seen the allies and exposed the traps. But in the end, only one thing matters. What is your personal goal? Fasting is not a rigid law, but a tool that you must adapt to your life. If your primary goal is maximum fat burning, then be flexible. A splash of cream in your coffee or a spoonful of MCT oil is not a mistake, but a strategic tool that helps you last longer and defeat cravings. But if your goal is deep cellular cleansing, autophagy, then stay strict. In this case, water, black coffee, and unsweetened tea are your only companions. Remember, every gram of protein interrupts this process of self-renewal. Every body reacts differently. What works for your neighbor may not be the best thing for your metabolism. Listen to the signals your body sends you. Bio-individuality is not a buzzword, but biological reality. Experiment with the 7 tools and find out what supports you best. Understand the hormones. Master the process. If you want to dive deeper into the world of biohacking and learn how to optimize your biology, then subscribe to this channel now. Activate the bell so you do not miss any science-based tips for your health. Your body deserves to be understood, not simply punished. See you in the next video.